From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
Hey, from Marketing Dive, there's a report that we wanted to go over. Teen phenomenon TikTok taps 4 agencies to hone U.S. strategy. So check this. TikTok has partnered with 4 North American agencies as it looks to sharpen a marketing strategy in the U.S. Ad Age reported TikTok's aim, beyond increasing brand awareness in a valuable market, is to stand out less as an alternative to the likes of Snapchat and Instagram, and is more of like a platform like YouTube, told the sources over at Ad Age. So the social video app owned by the private Chinese startup ByteDance will work with IPG's Initiative, RPA, and Montreal-based independent firm Sid Lee and a small California agency called Channel. Sid Lee has spearheaded the TikTok's social media duties since March, and the company has confirmed all this to Ad Age. So if you don't know who TikTok is, TikTok has actually quietly risen to become the app of choice for U.S. teens, right? So it's no surprise that the company is looking to hone a marketing strategy in the region to better capitalize on the clout that they have. So, Tim, what's your experience with TikTok? Have you looked at it from afar, or have you tried to dive in there?
I haven't tried to dive in. It feels a lot kind of like Instagram crossed with Vine.
Yeah.
So have you played with it yourself?
No, we haven't. Try to stay away from it as much as possible. No, you're absolutely right. And it's almost like the resurrection of Vine. We're still at a 6 or 7 second type of rollout for these videos, right?
It's 15 seconds or 60 seconds, I think.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
But it does still loop, and you still follow people and heart stuff, kind of like you would do on Instagram. So it's kind of like taking the stuff that works on Instagram and the stuff that worked on Vine and kind of like merging them together, which I find it's fascinating because Vine died years ago, and it's just something like there still is a market for that. And
absolutely,
I would have kept Vine. I really liked it. I felt like the 6.2 seconds were a little bit short for Vine, but I mean, I don't do a deep dive into this stuff as much as I do on YouTube.
Sure. It certainly did push the creative on the Vine. And there is a huge cult following for Vine still. So these short video professionals, these short storytellers, I mean, there is certainly a niche market for those and a niche audience, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we'll talk about storytelling here a little bit later, but one of the misconceptions is like a story needs to be like an hour and a half feature length video.
Right.
But platforms like Vine and TikTok prove that no, you can do it in 6 seconds, 15 seconds, 60 seconds, still have a really good engaging story that people love.
Absolutely, and the audience is prepared for that small amount of time. So, if the audience is there, absolutely deliver content. Speaking of audiences and content, and some mysteries here from the Register, the YouTube mystery ban on hacking videos has content creators puzzled. A quote from the Register from Tim Erlin, VP of Product Management and Strategy over at cybersecurity biz Tripwire. He said security professionals find the policy questionable. Very simply, hacking is not a derogatory term and shouldn't be used in policy about what content is acceptable. So here's the deal, is that YouTube under fire since the inception for building a business on other people's copyrights, and there's certainly been some contentious stuff in the annals of history for YouTube. In recent years, it's been focusing on improving policies, challenging content that is, certainly some exploitive content or some negative content, and we're all for making sure that it's a safe environment and a somewhat clean environment. But they have actually targeted hacking videos. So if you don't know hacking videos, it's literally online hacking instructions. And in fact, I caught my 8-year-old son looking at a Fortnite hacking video. And he's changed the IPs of all the settings of the freaking PlayStation 4. I'm going, okay, hold on a second. 192. What are you doing here? Anyway, so it's out there. The stuff's available, but the written policy that they just rolled out here first appears in the Internet Wayback Machine in April 5th of 2019. So there's a policy out here. Let me read further on here. Jacob, where'd you come across this policy that they're referencing here?
I didn't see the policy itself. What I found interesting about it was talking about like YouTube is going and trying to find I think these these keywords and these points and get rid of these videos.
Right.
But a lot of the info security world likes these videos because that's how they discover things. That's how they start preventing
Absolutely.
attacks and things like that, and learning and kind of just getting into that mindset. So it's I think it's kind of the difference between white hat hacking or thinking back to the my favorite movie of all time, Sneakers.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, a little dated, but same idea. So I think it's that's where the confusion is right now from people is they don't want this to go away because it's their source for seeing what's coming and
Right.
and getting ready for it.
It's educational. That's what I mean, it's not so much practical instruction. It's educational on what the hell's going on out there. If you're taking it away, people are blind to it. Tim, what are your thoughts about the kind of the heavy-handed content policies that we're seeing here?
Oh, this is not the only policy that YouTube has issues with.
Yeah.
They have issues with a lot of policy, and I don't envy their position because, especially when you're trying to do something like this, is weighing free speech with hate speech sometimes, or like where's the line on that, and what's the considered hate speech and free speech, or in this case, just like hey, you're violating someone else's IP or something. It's pretty gray area sometimes. So I personally think like if you're teaching someone how to hack, secure, quote unquote, secure Wi-Fi, like I think that should be something that should be known. And if we've seen anything with social media, the more broadly spread an idea becomes, if it has some sort of threat to someone else, they work really hard to fix that.
All right. Absolutely.
If it spreads a little bit further, I'm kind of okay because that would hopefully address the security issue further. But at someone else's expense, where they lost all their personal information, I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, it's almost like you'd want some level of knowledge and education out there, but not the meat and potatoes of how to actually exploit. The problem is that you've opened up the conduit of instruction and free speech in this channel, and then you're playing police, you're playing cop at this point in time, and you're actually restricting that content after the horse has left the barn. It's kind of like, all right, they're going to be able to find that content someplace, right?
Yeah, and one of the things that this article said too, it was like the author was suggesting that it's due to the metadata, and I don't think that part's true because some people assume that the only information Google has about their video is whatever they tell YouTube about the video, which would be like the title, the descriptions, the tags, sometimes maybe the captions files or something like that. But that is simply not true. Google's has very smart systems, and they can figure out what's in your video, even if you don't give them a shred of information about it other than the actual video file itself. So I tend personally lean away from those types of theories. But that was the main thing that stood out to me in this article. I'm like, I don't think that's how they're doing it. YouTube's really smart. They know what's in the image, even if you don't tell them anything about it.
No,
it's like a photo to Facebook, and they'll be like, oh, here's your friend Joe. You want to tag Joe? You're like, how'd you know that was Joe? My gosh.
And all the Google image recognition. I mean, literally, it's in there. It's cooked into everything. So yeah, that's a bit of a erroneous tip there. But we'll watch this because I mean, there's been a lot of issues here recently with hate speech being ripped out of YouTube, and as soon as they're getting into these places where they're setting the stage of policing, and it's then their job to decide what constitutes a particular term or concept. I mean, that's a slippery slope. I can get it from the practical standpoint. You don't want to have hackers, educated and juiced up with all this content. But at the same time, man, getting into that space with Google and YouTube, deciding what's the best content for its audience. Oh man, it's chafing to say the least. All right, there's the political diatribe there for today. Last article that we wanted to share with you is actually really kind of tied into our interview today from Knox News, the YouTubers next door, how a Knoxville company launched their language learning channel. Check this out. Knoxville native Cody Beeler and Columbia-born Maria Yaramillo, kind of botched that one, don't have typical desk jobs. They actually commute just like everybody else. Well, they commute to their desk about 10 steps away in their spare room. So they actually have developed a Spanish lesson weekly YouTube channel, right? Why Not Spanish? In a blue room lit by Christmas lights with their dog, Maya, at their feet. They've turned into what was a one-on-one lesson into a channel with 76,000 subscribers. How long did it take them to do this, Jake? I'll get back on the mic.
Yeah, I think it was less than a year.
76,000 in less than a year. That's fantastic.
More than I've got.
Well, I mean, they use games and skits and real conversations in their video to teach viewers the way that doesn't feel like it's being structured or instructional, right? And they really are kind of their storytelling, and along with it, they're teaching in another entire language. So they've kind of dialed into the nuance of how to get their content across. So Tim, jump in on this one, because this really connects with what you've been talking about for such a long time, right?
Oh yeah, there are lots of people who are going from I just uploaded a video like my story. I uploaded a video just because I wanted to introduce my girlfriend to my family across the country. I was in graduate school and just like, how do I, like, this is prior to Facebook days and things. So uploaded some videos of us going out to eat, going out to the park, and then here we are. I can get in my whole story, but yeah, it's been, about it was 2006, so 13 years later, and it's been a full-time gig for me for many years. I got a team of 10 people who work for me just because we uploaded some dinky videos, 13 years ago. I mean, a lot more than that, but yeah, it happens for a lot of people, whether it's around Spanish or around music or around teaching people like anything, or just even telling family stories. Any of that it happens for a lot.
I think the cool thing about this is that you don't have to have millions of viewers and millions of subscribers. In fact, we're in such a fractional content consumption era now that it's really about getting that good story, that good communication out there, and connecting with your audience, right? So this is what they've done, and they've really built an entire business just around that. 76,000 for them means the world for people that are looking for Spanish lessons and taught the way they're teaching.
That's right. And the way you make money on YouTube, I mean, a lot of people think it's just AdSense, but I would venture to guess, with a channel their size, that they're not full-time because their AdSense check is so high, but it's because they figured out like what a business model is, which is the rationale for how someone creates, delivers, and captures value. And so they're creating value, they're delivering value, and then what most creators think is like, oh, I'm just going to let the AdSense revenue come or something like that. Or if you're a business, you haven't really figured out how to capture value on YouTube. Yep. So like that's the part that then makes the channel hard to sustain. But it sounds like they're creating value, delivering it, and then they have their own business that's capturing value in terms of courses and teaching and other online instructing type of things. And that's what's really making it work for them, which is how they're able to go full time with a relatively small audience. Like even here at my company, at my channel, Video Creators, I was doing full-time YouTube audience development full-time for a company and all their clients. And then that department got shut down. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go do for myself what I've been doing for other people. And I had 6 months to do it. And so within 6 months, I started a channel from scratch, and it was at 3,000 subscribers by the end of 6 months. And it was generating $10,000 a month.
Sweet.
More than I was making back in my other gig. So I was like, oh, wow, this stuff actually works. So you don't need large audiences to make it sustainable.
Excellent. Well, we're going to unpack all of this here today on the show. So we really appreciate your input on the news. I mean, you want to check out all the news items, go over and subscribe to the Edge newsletter as well. It's getting sent out each and every week. And what we're covering is who we're talking to, who we are about to talk to, as well as the news stories that we've covered on that show. So go over to edgeofthewebradio.com, subscribe right there. We'll not do anything with your email except sending you over these digital nuggets of gold. You can also text to the word 228 to the number 22828, the word Edge Talk. You can sign up right there. Don't do it while you're driving. And let us know how we're doing on that channel as well, because we certainly want to feed our Edge Nation some good information that we're coming across each and every week. Thanks Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of our content, or especially more of this week's featured guest, including a full-length interview, head on over to YouTube and search for Edge of the Web. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to see digital marketing news as it happens.